What's the final thing on the Wonderbox?
My crystals.
What are your crystals?
I'll show you. Now strap in, because the anecdote does get more uplifting.
Yes.
I was having a cry in Lou Sanders' shower.
Okay.
And I came out.
Yeah.
This is about 2 years ago. I was going through a bit of a rough
there's
patch.
such a world of difference between strapping in and strapping on, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so you're weeping in the shower.
I'm weeping in a shower in Lou Sanders' house.
Which good place to cry.
Exactly, because it hides the tears. And I just came out and said to Lou, have you got anything for sadness? I think I said, have you got anything for sadness?
And she went, a towel.
So she just toweled my face down.
Sure.
And she went and got me those 2 crystals. And, you know, I'm not really necessarily a crystals guy, but what it represents for me is the first time I tried to find solutions to my problems.
Okay.
And I kept them with me. I took them.
And clearly it represents a willingness to look in any avenue. Because clearly, to the rational mind, this is madness. but it proves that you were willing to try anything to deal with your problems.
But it's a symbol, and it's like I took them on tour with me, and I would put them on my table next to my bits of paper and my glass of water. And over the past sort of year and a half, I've been looking into lots of different things. So exercise, CrossFit, running, meditation, 12-step groups, Buddhism, mindful eating, whatever it is.
Oh, that's hard, isn't it? You got to
I want to inhale my food.
Yeah, same here. I eat like a dog.
I have to put down the fork and sometimes leave the room. I will eat when my girlfriend serves up a dinner she's cooked. I will pick up my plate in the kitchen and I start eating as I'm walking to the table. Yeah. It's like, what? Come on, man!
It's a miracle if me and my wife last longer than 45 minutes in a restaurant.
Yeah. Like, get it down, me, get it out.
And so
Bill, please.
And she'll often go, bloody hell, we've been in there for an hour and 6 minutes.
But all those things represent an alternative to doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting different results, which is getting hammered every night.
Yes.
And the more and more damage that did, the more I tried to do it harder or more often.
Yes.
And it's the same thing every time. Whereas, you know, I might struggle with my head today, but I've already I've already done a 12-step meeting this morning. I've already meditated today. I exercised yesterday. I did a CrossFit class. I can go for a run this weekend. I can try all these little things that are part of a kind of maybe slightly scattergun approach, but they're all doing net good for me.
Yeah.
And they might not all work all of the time, but I am open to going into a world of sort of healthy solutions.
Yeah, well, you're open to the potential.
Yeah.
So that's what it represents. It's like a willingness to try different options other than just getting leathered.
Yeah, and like you were saying about can you sit with yourself? I am the problem, and therefore I can be the solution to that problem of me. Mm-hmm. And that problem of me rears its head in lots of different ways. Some days it's being really impatient with people. Some days it's just wanting things my own way. Some days it's feeling self-pity. Some days it's like my thoughts just attacking me, thinking, how am I spinning out? I'm literally just sat in my house. Nothing bad is happening, but my brain tells me it is. So I can solve that in any number of different ways, or attempt to solve it and be willing to try, have the willingness that this next thing might work and come back to the things that do, as opposed to what I did for 20 years, which is get hammered, to shut it up and stop it. Because that works sort of in the short term, but in the medium and long term is pretty horrific.
Have you felt happier since you've had those crystals?
Well, do you know what? I kind of maybe... It's mad to think about it, but yeah, since my life has completely changed. It's unrecognizable. So yeah, I mean, in a way, maybe they did work. And in fact, they did. Isn't that crazy to think that just now? I thought they represent something. Maybe it was them. Yeah. Because beginning to look for those solutions worked, in a sense. Yes. But that's not to say that life is necessarily always easier. In fact, sometimes it's harder because I don't have the thing that shuts the world out anymore. Yeah. But it challenges me to kind of go into uncomfortable feelings and stay there.
the discovery of like health fads or whatever, some of it as well is so funny. Like, like as in, as somebody that bought a week-long home enema kit. Like, do you know what I mean? And I sort of, read all the stuff, very good. It gets rid of all this, and just that instant, the first attempt when we're talking, like that, just instant regret. Like, as you're doing it, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It was coffee flavored as well.
Was it?
Yeah, but that moment is like, as I'm attempting it, my brain's like going, maybe just get one. Why have you got 7, you fucking man? Like, just, it's,
I probably am more, I come to these things probably quite cynical, and I think in a way that helps me. So, when Lou handed me some crystals, part of me probably does think, oh, well, do they work? That's not the right question to be asking. Yes. So am I willing? Mm-hmm. Am I willing to try these things? But it takes it's like we were saying earlier, it takes work.
Absolutely.
And I'm not, I've got a lot of time on my hands. A lot of people don't have a lot of time.
Absolutely.
And they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's easier to make convenient choices.
Yeah, true.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be cheaper, but it is.
Yeah, it's like obviously there's quite a big trend of people talking about their mental health, and you sometimes think, they're doing an advert for a mental health company and they're going, you need to talk about your mental health, and you go, well, it's easy for you to talk about your mental health because you're being paid to talk about your mental health. A lot of people have jobs and they just don't have that time to carve out time for themselves. It's really fucking difficult. And I think there's, I don't know, there's,
but that message is worth digging into a bit, because what does talking about your mental health mean? It's a very easy thing to say. Who are you talking to?
Yep.
At what cost?
Yep.
What if the only person you've got to talk to is the cause of your mental health being bad?
Yeah.
What if the person sat next to you for the vast majority of the time is abusive? What if you've actually been trying to talk to someone about your mental health for years, and the services, your local services, have been cut so much that there's a 2-year waiting list in the UK to speak to a therapist? 2 years.
Well, and again, so what that does, it shows you that people that can get therapy are the people that can afford it.
100%.
And it's and the majority of people that I know that desperately would need it, A, can't afford it, B, don't need that waiting time, and C, have the deep shame of, I'm not one of those people. I can't, I cannot have anyone finding out that that's been me, and that I'm weird, and that I'm deficient in some way, and they're the people that need the most help. I often think that with like sort of massage. I've had loads of massage because I sometimes get a bit of a sore shoulder, but I can afford a massage, and you think there must be so many people out there that desperately need a rub down but can't afford it, and the world is so fucked. But there's not a lot, you can't really fix it. You can't just walk up to a trucker and just kind of go, yeah, mate, I'll rub your back.
They've got those chairs in service stations.
Yeah. But it's that frustrating thing that it feels sometimes like there's this fucking dual species in the world, and it's we have all this information, and some people have access and can do it, and some people who desperately need it can't get there.